Today we're joined by the Mann family. Their last name is Mann thanks to our previous champion, Florida Man, pulling one out of his ass to be the last man alive in our last house. However, he's joined today by a couple of new contenders. One potential rival of absolute insanity, because of the frickin' article that everyone kept linking me on Twitter, is Australian Man. Australian Man is the only man who would use a drone to lift up a cafe chair while he fished with a beer koozie holder in the chair in the middle of the ocean. That right there will put you in Florida Man's good graces. Also, I don't know why, but from here it looks like Australian Man is calling Tim Horton a bitch behind his back. I always felt that Australian Man would be good friends with Florida Man. I know 3 Australians quite well. And they share many things in common with Floridians. All 3 of them enjoy fishing, curse all the time, and love to drink beers. Florida Man, what the hell are you doing? Is this some sort of exercise? I didn't think you were this proactive. Australian Man is already in the pool, lounging on top of what is friggin' Shamu blow up or something over here. Australian Man made a veggie burger. What? Australian Man just came over while Florida Man was sleeping, and he just put down another plate of food. So Florida Man is surrounded at this point by the scent of death. Australian Man's like, rest in peace, my brother. And then there were 2. Australia Man, and I forgot my pants. One of the oldest Sims of the bunch and one of the newest. Who's gonna go on to the end? Because right now, Australian Man is mortified, which means he could die. Okay, Australian Man made it to sleep. So that means he's not gonna die yet. So it's still a 50-50. It's anybody's game. Oh no! And I forgot my pants is the one to go down. That means that Australian Man sitting at a table filled with rotting hamburgers while Spleens over here shoots her healing love hearts over, I forgot my pants, gets to be the victor, and he's so tearful about it too. He's like, oh, that bitch is finally dead. It took forever, but now I'm the king of the universe. Enemy's demise. The death of a loved one can be traumatic, but the death of an enemy brings nothing but happiness. Sims can laugh at a tombstone to feel at peace. He hated her so much that when she died, all he can feel is elation. Australian Man is mean. I don't know why the game decided this. The very first... Wait a second, I just noticed something. Really, Australian Man is the very first person to cook something on the barbecue? Way to propagate the stereotype. What I was gonna say is, this is just the beginning. Well, never mind, maybe it's the end. He already set the goddamn grill on fire. Is anyone gonna take care of that? Is anyone gonna take care of that? No one's gonna take care of that. You're all just gonna watch it burn. Great. Hey, LSD. Australia Man's like, oh man, I just got done using the toilet. Oh my God, there's a dead body. I'd like to take a moment to describe an instance here that's very detrimental to Australian Man. Somehow, he's gotten stuck behind the couch and he can't get out. He's gonna die. Whoa, what the hell? Australian Man literally just disappeared. His urn is here, but he didn't get a death animation or anything. Oh, we're breaking the game bad today. Australia Man is always the first one to find the grill. It's true. Every single time I've had him in an episode, he's the first one. Now, every single time, he has set the grill on fire as well. Will Australian Man set the grill on fire once more? This is a high-end grill, Australian Man. If you screw this up, it's your ass. Well. What do you freaking know? And look who it was. Australian Man for the 3rd time. Jesus Christ, extinguish him! Someone help him! Florida Man, thank God you're around. See, Florida Man has dealt with this many a time. Oh, Colino, you're doing it too. Australian Man, look at that cake right there. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Maybe you'd like to have a bite, huh? Yeah, I just bet you would. Why, yeah, go ahead and grab it. What's the worst that could happen, right? That's what you get. First one's free. Hawk him back. This cow plant's like, this Australian man tastes like burnt ashes and broken promises. Australian man! Australian man gets obliterated by the cow plant. Australia is the second most delicious country in the entire universe. Right after California, state, country, whatever. I assume that's where LSD was from. I never really asked her. Australian man has the right idea. It's so hot. He's like, maybe if I play winter sports on the computer, I'll get residual cold from the monitor. Given where you're from, Australian man, you and Florida man are my two favorites to win this. Now Australian man is burning to death. Why are you burning to death? You're from Australia, for God's sakes. This is like a walk in the park. Australian man is talking to Florida man. He's like, what do you like to do to keep cool? And Florida man is like, I like to snort ice water. I think I know now, Australian man, how you always manage to set the house on fire. Australian man is like, LSD, we will never forget you. JK, let me go ahead and throw your ashes away. There it is. I love it. She did wait until the Grim Reaper left. She went all the way to the top of the house too. She's like, maybe if I get closer to the sun, this will be over quicker. And thus, Bab Ross is our final person to die. And that means that Australian man, the sleeping blonde beauty, is the winner of this week's contest. That's right, Australian man. Keep your sunglasses on while you creepily record everything these people do. There's no reason to ever leave your computer station, Australian man. Everything you need is right here. You need to use the bathroom? There's a pool. Are you kidding me right now? I gave you guys a gigantic mansion with every possible amenity you could ever want. And you're still making rancid hot dogs multiply here. Australian man, sit down at that goddamn computer and don't get up until I tell you to. What's funny, Australia man, is that the painting that you are painting is going to help me to kill you all. I appreciate that Australian man is continuing to get his happiness up by lighting people on fire in The Sims. You don't need to eat, Australian man. Oh, we just had a kitten. There's nothing like hanging outside, watching some TV, a nice bowl of rotting sausages at your feet. Never mind, 2 bowls of rotting sausages at your feet. Where are you pulling these goddamn bowls from, Australian man? Where? What? Oh, Australian man, he's next. Right after his brother, Florida man. He's like, I can't let Florida man die alone. I'm gonna die facing all the bowls of rotting sausage that I have created. I have to make sure that the Sims have bad relationships with the creatures, so I'm gonna have them berate them. Oh, Australian man couldn't keep his goddamn hands to himself. Yep, he's got the fever. Or rather, he might. It looks like LSD overcame her bite. Oh, but Australian man didn't. It just said he's got like a tickle in the back of his throat. I think he's screwed. It's all a matter then on who he gives the plague to next. Australian man isn't feeling too good. He's feeling fuzzy. Australian man is mean. It's probably because he knows he's going to die soon. Australian man now has the fuzzy fever. And apparently he just urinated himself. Come on, man. There's literally toilets everywhere. He's like, if I'm gonna end up dying anyway, everyone's gonna be cleaning up my piss. I just read this, the fuzzy fever. It actually does cause him to lose control over his bladder. Oh my God, I can't wait until all the Sims get this. The time has come. Australian man is now contagious. Australians should urgently seek help by researching the disease on the computer. That is not going to happen. Instead, Australian man is gonna make vanilla ice cream. Look at how happy he is. He's like, there's nothing like dying slowly and sweet vanilla bean. These guys are over here, they're like, isn't it adorable when the kittens clean up our human excrement? There it is. Australian man is foaming at the mouth as he succumbs to the end stage of rodent fever. That's right, Australian man. Do you know what you do right before you die of rodent fever? You do the Thriller dance. Down he goes. Meanwhile, the broken-ass sink spills water all over him. Where the hell did his urn go? What is it underneath all the piles of human refuse? What the hell's going on over here? Do I have to put like no roughhousing signs up by the friggin' hot tub? Like, I know that Australian man is probably just getting out as LSD is getting in, but it looks like he's knee striking her. She's so apathetic about it too. She's like, better than dying. It's so strange. These two do everything together. They're even sleeping in the damn hot tub together while Australian man creepily watches them in the background. It's so weird. It's like he's thinking to himself, are you two having fun? I hope you are, because I'll be seeing you soon. You sons of bitch. Australian man's actually doing this to everyone. I think his plan is he's going to win by murdering everyone. He's standing there. He's like, you know what you do have? You have a bed. Yeah, it must be nice. Do you know what you don't have? A future. Australian man has fallen asleep in the bathtub, which is good. I think I'm gonna go ahead and end up taking the roof off of the house, just to make things a little bit more difficult for the Sims cold-wise. Might as well turn that thermostat down too. There's literally a $2,000 grill right to your left, and you're both gonna sit here and eat the rotting food. You know what? Actually, this is fine. It's the only way it's ever gonna get cleaned up. You're not gonna throw it out. I like how out of everyone, Australian man is the one that's most affected by this blizzard. All right, all you bastards, it's time to get the death moving along. Everyone gets swimming. Except for you, you have to swim around sadly. You can tell the moment I override the rational thought, Australian man is like, you son of a bitch. That's right, I want at least 10 laps until you guys go back inside. Oh, Australian man is the coldest right now. I guess it makes sense though. Look at him struggle as his body slowly wills him to go to sleep forever. Australian man's like, I know how to ward off this foul weather. This towel will help. I don't really know where to put Australian man in the grand scheme of intelligence. He's sleeping in his bath towel, but he is doing it right next to the little outdoor flame thing. That's right, Australian man. Use the toilet that's outside in the blizzard. Do it. Australian man just went back into the pool? What the hell? I didn't even make him do this. He's like, I figure I would just end things a little bit quicker, Gray. Oh, never mind. He just wanted to get to the toilet. He thought the best way to do it would be to go through the pool. All right, multiple people are freezing to death again, but none of them has died yet. Australian man is next. He was trying to get inside too. He tried to follow death. Well, he actually did follow death. He just followed the wrong one. Australian man, being the only person here who finished high school, decided to pack a pair of sunglasses. However, this is gonna backfire because all it's gonna do is protect his eyesight so he can watch closely as the rest of his body slowly immolates. This is a really weird scene because Australian man looks like he's judging spleens and spleens looks like she deflated. This is legitimately the saddest pool party I've ever seen in my entire life. It's because it's not really like swimming in a pool. It's like two guys swimming inside of a bathtub together. Australian man and Tommy Weenus are having a conversation about how they both miss Florida man. Tommy Weenus is like, I'm very sad. Meanwhile, Australian man's like, yeah, I mixed some of his ashes in with my coffee and all I got was hepatitis. I like how you're all deciding to have a conversation out in the sunniest part of the entire house. Okay, since we're getting to the home stretch of nuclear sun exposure, I decided to take more of the roofing out. I like that these two are over here playing like Jenga or whatever, and Australian man is like, this game has fallen apart, just like the pieces of my life. I've got good news, everyone. Australian man won at Jenga. Do you know why? Because Tommy fell asleep at the table. Watching the evolution of intelligence of my Sims is incredible. Meanwhile, no matter how many tubs I put outside, none of them are interested in them. Australian man is like, I smell like clam chowder that's been sitting out in the sun for 4 days. Meanwhile, Bab is like, that sounds delicious. And Tonsils is like, did someone say clam chowder? This right here is the most appropriate scenery of Sims that I can show you. It's a bunch of Sims that are covered in their own waste and filth. Sad, depressed, talking about how they want to die. This is actually kind of wild. They're all burning together I don't know, like, if they're gonna burn at the same time to death or if one of them's gonna die first. It's more of a question of who's the most flammable. Bab Ross probably has lighter fluid for blood. Australian Man is next, and that means that Bab Ross is technically going to be the winner, even though she will immediately die. But Bab, on the plus side, for the 2 seconds that you're alive, that means that you are the winner. And now your winning streak is over. Oh, Australian Man, the juggernaut he is following right behind. Okay, Bab glitched out for a while. That allowed Australian Man to start coming up the rear. They've been swimming now for what, 2 full hours, 2.5 hours, and we're only in the second layer. On the bottommost floor, they have to go through all these just to get to this portion. This is interesting. Australian Man is just flat out faster than Florida Man. This dude is like part fish or something. Australian Man is 3/4 shrimp and 1/4 badass. And the first one to reach it is Australian Man. It's taken him 10 hours of non-stop swimming. Australian Man is like an Olympic swimmer. He has swam so fast that the next bunch of people are between 4 and 8 rows behind him. As such, Australian Man now gets to have something to eat. This is amazing. It took him like 30 minutes to figure out how to get the sandwich out of the refrigerator. Somehow, Florida Man has legitimately defeated Australian Man in speed. I think the problem is when they're interested in, you know, the necessities like eating and drinking and sleeping, they kind of do things out of order because the game has completely decided to embrace the devil at this point. Kill me. So, it's Thursday in the fall. They have been swimming for 11 days straight. And somehow Australian Man is happy. Australian Man is like, Gray, I was made for this torture. He is in first place. Methamphetamine decided to evaporate spontaneously, so she's gone. I don't know where she went. But we're finally on the top layer of the house. This is the final portion. The last little bit here. That's right, push. Push, you beautiful bastard. You've only got like 3 more revolutions to go. They're the biggest ones, but you'll be all right if you don't starve to death first. Night is coming. I can't believe we've gotten this far, to be quite honest with you. Florida Man's probably going to die soon because he needs to make food, but he can't because he went back to the tree to take a crap. And when that happened, he basically damned himself. Unbelievable. Australian Man. He could've just walked forward. He had to get that last little victory lap in. At 9 o'clock at night on Thursday, Australian Man has made it to the end. And finally, he gets to sleep. Australian Man has done it. And the game has actually ruthlessly broken again. Time has frozen, even though we're in the fast-forward movement. And he just stares longingly at everyone behind him who has died, internally proud. And yet completely emotionless. All right, my children, go be free. Everyone's looking very pointedly at Tonsils, and Tonsils is like, don't ask me for advice, I eat grass. Australian Man thought he was gonna troll the forums. You're never gonna make it off the first floor, buddy. How's your bladder doing? Sucks, huh? What the hell? Bladder failure in 0 minutes. We are way past 0 minutes. I think he's completely phased out of existence. He's gonna starve eventually too. Oh, there it is. It just kicked in. It took like 2 hours. He just instantaneously changed to filthy. Australian Man just disappeared. What the hell? Australian Man straight up vanished. I think he died. I think what happened was he got mortified from urinating all over himself and he died, but it didn't even give him a death animation just like last time. It just evaporated him. I like how a bunch of Sims are still outside. They're like, we know what you're trying to do, Gray. We're not going inside that goddamn house. There's only 1 bed here, so everyone's gonna have to figure out exactly how they want to sleep. I appreciate that Australian Man and Tonsils have learned the benefits of sharing, but I don't think that any of the other Sims are going to be understanding that concept. Australian Man is the most antisocial bastard there is. He has not come out of that bedroom since he's been in there. Everyone's taking this surprisingly well. Australian Man's reading a book. It's like How to Escape from Prison. This book is called Love in the Time of Sandwiches. What the hell? never actually looked to see what these book titles are called. Tiny Tino and Gina are in love, but Gina bends to pressure and marries another. Devastated, Tiny Tino finds solace in a love affair with sandwiches of all shapes, sizes, and flavors. Many years later, Gina becomes a widow. Can she love Tino again? Especially now when he isn't so tiny. What the hell did I just read? Australian man's like, well, so much for having the bedroom to myself. Australian man, you gotta use the bathroom. There's toilets right over there. Past the seizure-inducing graphical errors. Australian man, I would appreciate it if you didn't hug so closely next to the queue. You're getting bodily fluids all over the velvet. In a moment, I will show you something that you cannot unsee. I have child-sized both Florida man and Australian man. And there they are. These two psychopaths will be the very first children that we're going to start with LSD, so that she can get her feet wet before everyone starts being taken by child services. I feel like right now they're having a fantastic conversation. Australian man's like, hey, I found a knife outside. Is it okay if I go hunting? LSD's like, well, it didn't say not to do that on the Google motherhood pamphlet I read. And of course, Australian man's like, got her. I'm pretty sure a sim can't set themselves on fire with a microwave, but if anyone was going to achieve this, it would be Australian man. Ellis is over here telling stories by the campfire. She's like, let me tell you kids a completely fictional story about a woman with 100 children and absolutely nothing left to lose. Yeah, it's so weird. One day, all the children were gone and all that was left was 100 piles of bones. No one could ever identify whose was whose. Can you kids not urinate by the fire? You're gonna put it out. And here we have the various failures of society, prepared to give up their lives in order to test just how many Murphy beds it takes to kill an entire household in one night. Get that flirting in now, Australian man, because there may not be a tomorrow. What the hell? Florida man just drowned in the pool. He was so exhausted that rather sleep on the malfunctioning bed, he was like, I'm going out my way. Florida, take me home. I appreciate that Australian man is like, I will honor Florida man's memory by paddling my feet right above his dead body. So now the question is, will she die of starvation first, or will Australian man finally piss off one of the beds and kill himself? All right, everyone's using the Murphy bed. So far, so good. You know what? Hold on. I need to know. Australian man, put this bed down real quick. What the hell would this look like? What happens when this beats him up? This right here is a thing of beauty. At least his bunny slippers are comfortable. I think the best part about the fact that my Sims never wash themselves is they can't tell if the scent in the air is the burning of electrical wires or their unwashed flesh. That's right, Australian man. Go ahead, mix yourself up a nice depressed pina colada. Nope. Or don't, that's fine too. He's like, I had to choose between having fun or dying. I choose dying. Oh, here we go. I think this is gonna be it. That's right, it doesn't matter how small the bed is. Even at this young age, it's still a murderous psychopath. And as Death cleans up her various expelled fluids, that means that Australian man is the winner. As he dreams about dangerous insects, he's like, you know what this place and Australia have in common? Nothing. Australia is much safer than this house. It looks like it's almost trying to kill him too. Well, I mean, for the most part, he won. He'll have PTSD for the rest of his life, though. The contestants are ready. The judges are in their position. It is time for this totally family-friendly, non-fatal version of Chop to begin. Australian man, 10 minutes have gone by and 10 Sims are already dead. How do you feel? He's like, disappointed. This is how Florida man and Australian man sleep together. It's glorious. God, it's like the symbol for Pisces, except much drunker. Get in there, Australian man. Your job as a judge isn't done yet. Having a nice dinner, huh? Okay, you wily bastards. How you gonna get around this? That's right, take a dip, Australian man. I like how everyone's just chilling around the hot tub, but no one actually wants to get in. Claire Danes is like, oh no, after you, Australian man. Australian man's like, Florida man was here first, I insist. And Florida man's like, I'm almost sure we're out of beer in the fridge. See, Australian man is a G. He will eat moldy food. He's like, back in my day, we ate out of the dumpster and we liked it. We also liked botulism and salmonella. They're all eating rotten food. Having pools all over the house is causing the Sims to do some really questionable things. Ah, I see you walked around my pool in order to get to this bench. Try again. What the hell just happened there? He just walked on that water. Y'all saw that, right? I've given my Sims a gigantic house filled with everything they could possibly want, and they love sleeping like homeless people at a train station. Australian man's like, it's because I'm part piranha that I'm still alive. I'm about to head in that pool and eat what's left of Tim Horton. Yes, you can sleep on the couch, but at least you have to go through the pool first to get there. This is probably a fantastic conversation. It's like, hey, what did you do yesterday? And he's like, try not to die. You're looking pretty exhausted there, Australian man. You better get some Z's. Okay, I just noticed something. Where the hell is Australian man? What is this? Legit, it's Australian man's urn. He didn't even get a death animation or anything. He just died. I assume he's drowned to death because it's right out here by the pool. All right, now that the cats are inside, I can finally close off the one portal to the outside world. Get a little stage lighting in. Wouldn't want them to have a moment of privacy after all. Look, I don't have enough space to give you guys privacy walls, so if you want to use the toilet, you better learn to do it in front of people. Look at this, it's like sad, pretending to be sad. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you guys even more incentive to stay alive. I'm actually gonna wall in the toilet and the shower. How about that? Sims are probably like, who are you and what have you done with Gray? There, you bastards now have no reason to die, but you still will. Oh Christ, what the hell happened? Jesus, how? Australian man, no! Actually, while you're burning, hold on, can we get a picture of this real quick? Damn it, there's a fire on the lot. I so wanted to get a painting of Australian man burning alive. What did I tell you? I told you that it didn't matter how much space I give these people, someone will die roughly every 24 hours. Now you're gonna burn alive, Australian man. Oh, never mind, you've been saved. Never mind. She's putting out the fire in the oven, not the fire that's on Australian man. And just like that, we're down one extra sim. I love how surprised everyone is. Everyone's like, how can this be? I almost forgot. I always love giving everyone an absolutely obnoxious amount of light in their room. Put it right over the toilet. All right, this is a pretty realistic simulation so far of what would happen. Like half of the people are just playing on their computer. The other half of the people are watching TV. Australian man is over here reading a book. Well, I say reading a book. He is holding a book. There's a lot of things that Australian man could have chosen to do given this scenario. His answer, starve to death. A lot of my original Sims chose this area. Australian man is over here. He's like, did I choose the wrong house? For some reason, the air is filled with the scent of death. Australian man, how could you know? Y'all know you're not gonna wash away all the urine with your tears, right? Picking this house was the worst thing that anyone here ever did with their lives. Okay, Australian man is still alive. Florida man did end up getting the disease. And Florida man just sneezed all over Australian man. Hopefully Australian man's immune system is strong. Australian man died. I don't know how, but he completely vaporized. He didn't even get a death animation. I'm not gonna lie, this guy looks a lot like Australian man. The reason I know it's not Australian man is because no one set the grill on fire yet. However, Australian man is showing off his domestic skills by actually doing the dishes for the first time. All right, I was waiting for Australian man to head up in here, but he's here talking about dogs and... Australian man is over here telling LSD a fantastic story about the one time he got arrested for fist fighting poisonous frogs. This is a record. Australian man and LSD! And he's very angry while this is happening. Okay, Australian man is a legitimate juggernaut because spleens didn't even get hungry before this happened. He's like, that's how we do it. In the outback. Now it is time to find out who is the most sexual husband material by putting Australian man up against Ian, or Ethan, or Evan. I don't actually remember his name. Hope you're ready, LSD, for round 3. While Australian man is cleaning again, look at him go. He's going to every room in the house, picking up the dirty plates, and preparing to put them into the dishwasher. See his type of behavior? This is how you woohoo a girl in less than 24 hours. Oh. He didn't actually He didn't actually clean the plates at all. He just moved them into one room. I mean, I guess he put them in one spot for Ellis. Okay, he is the first person to strike up a conversation with Ellis D. All right, Australian man is back in this talking to Ellis. He's definitely making all the moves at this point. Evan needs to step this up if he wants to stay in the running. Look at this. Now they're talking by the pool. Meanwhile, Evan is like, I'm still part of this conversation, right? Okay, I just learned something. Australian man is way more jealous than Evan. See, as Australian man is part fish, whenever he's angry, he swims for like 16 hours. Bad news. Australian man's relationship with LSD is terrible, but his relationship with spleens is fantastic. Australian man is energized, but that's because he was just sleeping. I think that's how Evan swooped in and got this done. He's like, I'm gonna go have some Fruit Loops. Australian man, please God, don't tell me you're going to try and cook. I would prefer if we didn't burn the house down before someone woohooed. He's over here, he's like, God, which of these bladed implements do I use first? Okay, now this is something that's very special. Australian man is currently hitting on LSD. Oh yeah, they're hitting it off pretty well, actually. Wait a second. I almost missed this as well. Is this Ellis and Australian man having woohoo time? It is. They're in the middle of woohooing and there's a fire going out of the lot. I never thought it would happen. There's legitimately like 4 hours left of round 1 and Australian man and LSD end up doing it in the same damn hot tub that everyone uses. Florida man had a ton of woohoo and then he died. And Australian man is now tied with Florida man, and both of them, the two best friends, will be going on to round 2. Oh! Okay, Australian man just had the first kiss, which means he immediately made an enemy of everyone over here. It warms my heart to see Jamie Thigh Master and Australian man getting along. It's probably because she's the only female he hasn't pissed off yet. Tanvi has learned the following traits about Australian man. He's mean. However, Natalie is also mean, and so they're getting along really well. Australian man is like, you know, we both have a lot in common. We both hate everyone that's not us. I think I can see now why Australian man is having such a problem. I guess he's uncomfortable being around alcoholics. Okay, real quick. This happened shortly after all the death. It looks like Australian man took this opportunity to have some fun times with a girl that smells like rotting sewage. Do you ever wonder what it looks like when Sims are woohooing inside of the hot tub? I guess for whatever reason, the texture didn't light up. And, I'm not really sure what sort of weird yoga is happening here. I'm not gonna lie, Australian man, the maneuvers that you just did were amazing. The hot tub is boiling, hearts are flying out. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, which is good because that means that Australian man had less than a half a day left. Where the hell are the people? No one's... Finally, Australian man surfaces for a short time. It wasn't really a matter of whether or not he could win. It was more a matter of whether or not he or all of his spouses would end up dying. An Australian man gets the final woohoo in, which means he will be the winner, and it's funny to see. But the person that gave him the win was this lady that has the near misery from evil trait. I appreciate that Florida man finds interest in everyone that's an alcoholic, and Australian man finds interest in everyone that's evil. It was a close bout, but Australian man's happy. I like the two different expressions that happened after the aging up. Florida man is like, pension time, baby. Australian man is like, I really don't have anything good to say about this. The only thing I feel is arthritis in my weenus. Oh, now Australian man's getting in on this. Quickly, someone operate the cameras. Man, Australian man's in on this twice now. He's like the most woohooing person in the whole family. And the fact that it's happening right in front of Florida man made him angry. Who the hell even ended up woohooing? I wasn't even prepared for this. The problem is so many people are woohooing and I'm not even invited. It's Australian man again, what the hell? Jesus Christ, someone came all the way up to the 3rd floor just to die. Oh, Australian man, don't you be crying. You know you did this. Seriously, Australian man? What are you on, like 3, 4 at this point? At least it was unsatisfying for him. Okay, Australian man is still alive. We've got like the last 10 or so Sims left. Australian man, does your lust know no bounds? This lady's like, why do I feel like I'm about to die? And then there were 5. Okay, we've got a brand new couple over here. Considering there's only 5 people left, that an Australian man's videotaping it. He's like, I'll remember this for the end of days. That woman will die by my hand and my woohoo. Ah, yes. After murdering countless people, Australian man finally needs to take a slight rest. Okay, these two monsters of woohooing murder are finally going at it together. But who will survive? I like how right afterward, he just fell asleep. Like they just got done and he's out. I just heard the death music. She's gonna end up dying from this. No, Whitley, you lasted for so long. Australian man claims yet another life. He's like, oh, it wasn't me. This is it. A final pairing between Australian man and whoever the hell that is. I'm not even really sure. Of course. After all the sins and atrocities, Australia, man, finally got what's going to him. Oh, the cats are so sad. Tontos is like, no. I'm sure Australia man is over here. He's like, so let me just get this straight. I just want to confirm there's not going to be any internet or anything, right? Yes, Australia man, there will be no internet. He's probably like, we're all still going to die. It's going to be from a lack of will to go on. I like how Australia man is over here. He just started a fire right after this happened. He's like, you know who hasn't been set on fire yet? It's this guy. Okay. It didn't take too long. What was that about being the one who hasn't started a fire yet? I like how he's looking so innocent. He's like, she did it. At least he took care of his fire. What the hell is going on inside of the shark pool? Are they like battling each other in Mortal Kombat or something? I didn't know that the little pool thing over here. What the f- I don't know what just happened. I think that Australian man just was in there for something to do. I think he was bored. He's like, you know, some people play video games. Over in Australia, we fight sharks to the death. Ah, here we go. Australian man is over here. He is prepared to collect the glorious bounty that the bombardier beetles have given him. Well, this is nice. Australian man is taking care of all of the insects. Good for him. Okay, this leaves two people left. Florida man and Australian man. Australian man came over here to collect some honey. It didn't work super well. He's now been stung. Australian man and Florida man have a pretty good routine at this point. They've been collecting honey, they've been collecting grub meal, they're farming, they're cooking, and by cooking, I mean they're setting shit on fire. And we lost another standing garden. Australian man, every time you taunt the sharks like that, it worries me. All right, there's more gardening being done. Australian has failed to pay the bills for too long. The company will send someone to repo valuable items. I hadn't really thought about this, but they made it into the winter. And now because they really don't have a way to warm themselves because they're dumb, they're freezing to death. Freezing, starving, depressed. Florida man has finally died. It has taken like 12 days. And that means Australian man is the winner. He looks so happy about this. And thus we found out what happens when you force people to live without power. Can they make it 1,000 hours? In this case, hell no. Anyway, folks, hope you enjoyed this episode of The Sims 4. Till next time, stay foxy and much love.